James's mysterious encounter with Eloise, a nighttime adventure. James was on his way home late at night after a long and exhausting day at work. The night was slowly descending, and the streets were growing quiet. As the headlights of his car illuminated the road ahead, James suddenly saw a large tree falling in the distance. His heart raced, and he abruptly slammed on the brakes, bringing his car to a halt. Fear and curiosity overcame him as he approached the fallen tree. The tree lay silently on the ground, and an eerie silence surrounded it. James attempted to understand why the tree had fallen, but he couldn't find any obvious reason. There were no marks or clues on the ground, and he sensed there was no wind. He briefly scanned his surroundings and felt an overwhelming sense of isolation in the dark forest. He decided to inspect the area around the fallen tree for any signs. Lost in thought, James suddenly felt movement within his car. Panic seized him as he turned around to find that the car was moving forward on its own. Even though he wasn't behind the wheel, the vehicle was rapidly advancing. James desperately tried to enter the car again, but the doors appeared to be locked as if by some unseen force. A silhouette of a woman slowly emerged from the back seat of the car. She was dressed in a bright white gown, and her long black hair cascaded down her shoulders. Her face was pale and filled with sorrow, yet her eyes held a deep sense of sadness as they met James's. Her presence terrified James, and he felt like a captive in his own car. The car continued to move on its own, and James struggled to regain control of the steering wheel. But his efforts were in vain. The woman spoke quietly. "Listen to me, James. I need your help." Her voice was filled with desperation, yet James couldn't fathom why she needed his help. The car came to a sudden stop in a clearing. The woman still sat in the back seat, but she now appeared more serene. Eloise, as she introduced herself, said, "I'm Eloise. I need your help, James. I got lost in this forest and I must find my way out." James, frightened and confused, asked, "Who are you and why did you pull me into this?" The woman replied, "I used to live here once, but the forest trapped me. They asked me to seek your help. Now I'm free and I thank you, but you must not ask any more questions." As James stepped out of the car, he noticed they were at the entrance of the forest. The car doors opened automatically. He turned to Eloise for answers, but she had disappeared. James returned home, haunted by the bizarre events of the night. Who was Eloise, and had she genuinely wanted his help? He pondered these strange occurrences well into the late hours. Ultimately, he couldn't unravel the mysteries behind these events, and perhaps some mysteries were meant to remain unsolved. This terrifying night adventure would forever remain one of the most enigmatic memories of his life.